Good morning and welcome to the Retirement Recap for Friday, May 29th, 2020. Sitting in for Rich Cawthorn, Mark Salamone, and with me today, Rob Milas, Chief Investment Officer for Alpha Pension Group. And Rob, why don't we start with you today? I saw your slide prior to today, and it does look like the markets at least have shown some optimism despite some kind of negative news.
Yes, thank you, Mark. It's been a rocky week, although, the S&P closed up 2.75%, nearly 3%. Again, optimism that the economy is going to get back and working. I guess the interesting news for me this week, I often talk about, this value style and a growth style and all of that. I think if you look at the graphic today, it'll kind of explain that. So those sectors at the top now are what we consider the value sectors. So that's industrials, real estate, financials, utilities. Those actually led the week, whereas the growth sectors on the bottom, and particularly obviously technology is very much associated, and healthcare somewhat associated with growth, were actually the laggards during the week in terms of performance. And so what we've seen out of other recoveries is now taking place, which is that those value sectors tend to lead out of the recessions. And so it's just an interesting observation. We're also seeing small caps actually outperform the large caps as well. So again, it's just a kind of a change in leadership. As far as the big picture, we're still seeing these concerns with the issues between the U.S. and China, and we also continue to see the hideous economic numbers come in for growth and GDP and unemployment.
Well, thanks, Rob. That's a complete inverse from the first quarter, so hard to predict. And hopefully we get some good news today and the good vibes in the market keep on going. Well, today's Friday, so it's Fiduciary Friday. And what we're going to go over today is education. And education is not always the first thing on your list if you're a fiduciary for a 401k plan, but it's certainly important. It's always a good idea to make sure your participants are well-versed on their retirement plan benefit. And now more than ever, with the market being so turbulent, as Rob mentioned, participants need to understand what their 401k plan is doing and how best to be prepared and be allocated. So we have a chart today that kind of shows, education today is tough because we are all dispersed. We're not working in the same environments we're used to. So how do you communicate with your participants? Again, this chart will show you that if participants stay the course, if they have a long period of time, they have done pretty well. This chart shows a growth of $10,000 through the years 1999 through 2018. So certainly some turbulent times during those periods of times, whether it's the Great Recession back in 2008 or the dot-com bubble back in the year 2000, you can see how $10,000, if you stuck to the course, has done actually pretty well. But if you missed 30, 60 days, tremendously off. In fact, you're negative. So how do you communicate with your participants to make sure that they understand these issues and that they kind of keep peace of mind as they're going through this? Well, most record keepers and retirement plan providers have gone virtual. So there's a lot of different resources online. You can definitely check with your record keeper to see what resources are available. But if you don't know where to turn, Alpha Pension Group has 2 webinars every week. And what we've been doing during this period of time is opening that up to everybody. So we have a webinar dedicated to market turbulence, which I think is great for anybody. So if you don't know where the resources are, feel free to connect with Alpha Pension Group. We can set your participants up with that information, and we'll be happy to help. So again, that's it for Friday. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. We look forward to speaking to you on Tuesday.